Hi there. It's an exciting day. I think it might be the day that these little post-it notes finally come off, and you know what that means. It means that our Four Little Mischiefs might be ready to go on their long trip to their new owner. This book has just been such a pleasure to do. I'm not done yet, though, so we've got a few more things to do today. So I'm glad you're here to join me. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Catherine. I live up in Canada. I'm a little bit east of Toronto. I live in a little town on the north shore of Lake Ontario, otherwise known as Heaven. Have a few things to do. Oh, here we go. Four Little Mischiefs. I'm going to have to find a way to include this, but not until after we do the flip through. I need it for the flip through, and then it will go along with it to the new owner. I have so many little frog things that I think what I'm going to do is I have a glassine envelope, thanks to Happy Mail, I believe from Camille. And I think what I'm going to do is I have some things that I just am not sure where I want them. And maybe these are the things that she would want to, maybe she wants to put them somewhere. So I think what I will do is put together a few little fussy cuts and just send them along. And let the new owner decide what she would like to do with the little fussy cuts, if anything at all. And goodness knows now I have oodles of froggy things. So if I happen to do a frog, another frog journal in the future, which you never know, I'll be ready for it. Thank you, Nancy. So I did get a bit of work done yesterday. Oh my goodness, I love this tool. I'm getting a lot of really nice compliments on this tool, and I wish I could remember the journal I saw it in. The person who had done the little overlay of tulle had done a circle of it, which I think I will do next time, just for a little change. And so instead of a circle of a doily, which there is a paper doily in here somewhere, just a tiny one, it was similar to how you would put a circle of a paper doily, but it was a circle of tulle. And it just gives this little mystical, especially that the edges have, I took the time, it took a while. Everything's worth it. If it takes a while, you know it's got to be worth it. Just that doing that little frayed fairy edge on it. I just love that. I decided this edge needed a little bit of lace, so I put a bit of lace down the side. And yes, you'll see I put the end papers in. That's a no-brainer. If you want to know how to put end papers in, I've done it so many times. I mean, I have, 4 years of videos on here? Start hunting. And same thing back here. The little owls who are saying, thanks for joining me. I put a little row of that same lace. I love that lace. Isn't that sweet? Those tiny, tiny little flowers. So they are in there. And, oh, there's I knew I had that. And I made this. This was in that new book, that one that I found last week, Hill's album. And it was a page, and right in the center of the page, it said, the jumping frog. Well, come on, that's got to go in. So I made it one of my removable side tags. And that's the cool thing about a removable side tag. see how the other side is not the same size? They don't have to be the same size because you don't see both sides at the same time. So hold on. And then I like them crooked, so it's that way on purpose. I've glued it like a triangle, and it can hold papers. Now, this is from 1884, and I think I might write that on the inside back of this so that the new owner can know that those little frogs are frogs 1884. That's what I'm going to write. Frogs 1884, and I'll put sort of a curvy arrow so that the new owner knows. And then there's a little fairy on the other side laughing and dancing at watching the frogs playing leapfrog. So, remember playing leapfrog as a child? So these are so handy because you can move them anywhere you want in your book. They hold pages, and I can move that. They hold pages. I'm going to save these. That is excellent, excellent paper for collaging. Now that I like collaging, thanks to somebody who forced me to learn how, and now I'm addicted, that goes away. Now, I was working on something when I turned the lights out last night and said, I have got to get out of here. My sweetheart was ordering dinner so that I didn't have to cook, and dinner had arrived. Oh boy. Corey Dahman did a spur-of-the-moment tour of her craft room. I watched it this morning, and even spur of the moment, it's tidy. And I looked around here and I thought, if I did a spur of the moment right now, you all would think, this woman, what's she doing all day? I don't have a job. I shouldn't say I don't have a job, but I'm not a teacher, or I'm not a nurse heading off on shifts, or so I'm not into the office and all that, or watching children. Boy, there's a job. And I did that for many years, and teaching them because we homeschooled. What is the excuse? And the excuse is called making the stuff is more fun than cleaning up the stuff. So there is the reason that you are not looking around at this room right now. Woo. So I want to finish what I started before I turned out the light. I had to put some little red rose tea cards in there. So look at that little friend there going, uh-huh. So now where did it go? It was sticking out. There it is. Oh, I did all kinds of things. I forgot to show you. I did all kinds of things. So the mushrooms are in the Edith Holden leaf. So I like how that looks. And then the other side of this invoice. Remember on this side for the pocket, I put some of the 10-year garden diary. That's what I've got to do. I had a request to see what the 10-year garden diary looks like for the thrifters that want to find it. Because even if it's been written in, even better. Hold on, I'll go get it right now while I'm thinking about it. Okay, let's move this. It's a big book. I may have to move my camera. And I apologize again. Once again, I have forgotten to charge my microphone. So I'm just doing my best to speak clearly and loudly close to where the microphone on my telephone is. So here is the book. It's called A Gardener's Journal. It's a 10-year chronicle of your garden. It is, I noticed just now that it's printed by Lee Valley. And I bet you could if you wanted one, you could buy it brand new. It's a beautiful book. And I have two. My one that I've gotten into is downstairs. I have a box in my laundry room of papers and equipment for tea dyeing, and I keep it downstairs because that's where I do my tea dyeing. I don't do it in my craft room. I do it in the kitchen. So that's why I have one that is in all kinds of disarray. This one I haven't touched yet. I don't know how I managed to get this. I think I got this at the Goodwill in Niagara Falls, Ontario. I don't see a price tag on it, but this one was in even better condition than the first one I found, which was out in Trenton, Ontario. It is a really cool book for gardeners. I am not a gardener. I kill plants. I have accepted that I kill plants. Fortunately, I successfully raised 5 children, and then was bonused with 2 more who had a wonderful mom who successfully raised them. And so together we have 7 who are now successfully raising 18 grandchildren. Oh my goodness. Anyhow, it's just a really fantastic book for laying out your garden for all the years. So you write down the year and what you're thinking about, but then it starts getting into garden tool inventory, insect and disease control, so you can write down when you used it. It's got harvesting records, but here's the good part. So for every single day of the year for 10 years, you can write down what the weather was that day, the temperature, the low, maybe what was going on in your garden. So, and then it has different, like Mountbatten juniper, and then there's a little drawing there. Like, isn't that sweet? It's just a wonderful book. For gardeners, this would be, what a gift to give someone who does love to garden. And they can keep track of their garden for 10 whole years and be able to compare, oh, look, 9 years ago it was this temperature, and now it's this temperature on this day. I just think that would be a neat thing. And every once in a while you get these interesting pages that have, the whole thing is just marvelous for tea dyeing. It's just, and they're nice and big. For when you're doing a big journal, you have more room to work with. And plus, if you're doing a little journal, you can get more, like that page is big enough that usually you can fold down the center and get an entire folio out of one page. It's just, I love this book, and I'm so grateful to have, oh, a star magnolia. I wonder if that's what the kind of magnolia is. One of you told me I have a magnolia in the front of this book. I'm so grateful for all of you that let me know about all the things that I don't know about that I'm putting in these books simply because they're pretty. So this is the book. When I'm talking about my planting diary. Oh, isn't that cute? Clothing size reminder for children. Oh my goodness. I hadn't noticed that before. I'll have to go downstairs and find it. The one I have downstairs, whoever owned it kept it for a year. So, and not every day. So every once in a while I will find some writing in it, and I leave the writing right there. When I tea dye it, the writing goes with it to the new owner. But this one was at the Goodwill in Niagara Falls, Ontario. So never drive past a thrift store, even if you're out wandering around somewhere else. Because you don't know what you'll find in it. And isn't that just marvelous? It's huge. It is, let's see. It's 11 1/4 by 8 3/4. by 1 3/4, I would say, because these come out further than that spine. So there you go. Check out Lee Valley. I'm quite sure they're still in business. And I think that's how this ended up over in the Goodwill, because there's a Lee Valley store in Niagara Falls, Ontario. And I've mentioned before, in case you're not aware of that area and you're thinking of visiting, Niagara Falls, Ontario is a city of itself. The little town we love going to is called Niagara-on-the-Lake. It's a little town, and it's about a half an hour away from Niagara Falls. It's not even near the falls. It's up on the lake near the opening of the Niagara River. So, but they're all wonderful places to visit. So go visit. You'll love it. So that's the book. Let's put that away. And that's how I ended up with all these pieces of paper, because that's the tea-dyed part of that book, with the little bit of Kate Greenaway there. But here's what I was working on. I'm fussy cutting from a 1909 book. I found all kinds of frog things in this book. It's an Australian book I have from 1909. I have to be very careful in it. It can have, some of the pages are now, of course, quite inappropriate. That happens when you work with old books. You do have to be very careful. And I try my best, but I can't always promise that I find it all. Anyhow, this one is, there's a frog having a nap. And there's another frog teasing him with a little bug while he's sound asleep. He's standing on a mushroom and he's teasing him. So I want to finish fussy cutting that. And then I want to use the, underneath it says, one froggy asleep, one wicked froggy awake. So I want to do that. I might make a journaling card out of frogs on bicycles. So that's also from the 1909 book from Australia. So, and how it ended up in Canada, who knows? So let's finish fussy cutting this. These can be tricky to fussy cut because, there we go. The paper, this paper isn't the best quality and it wants to crack and break. So I have to just do my best, save that bug. I may finish fussy cutting it. I may pause, finish fussy cutting it, and then we'll glue it together, okay? And that way I won't waste 20 more minutes with you watching me do all this funny stuff. All right, so give me a second and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've done the best I can. I cannot get around these bug legs. Fortunately, the page I want to put it on, it's a similar color. So I think it's just going to blend, because I just want to put him down in the corner here. But I do want the wicked froggy. Imagine a froggy being wicked. But I cannot resist a wonderful word snippet. I have been word snippeting in this book. So let's see. One of these cutters is great for old paper because these wheels cut through the paper nicer than the cutters that have a little triangle blade. Those can just shred old, not good quality old paper. Some old paper, like from early 1800s and 1700s and that, is in wonderful condition. It really, the quality of the paper isn't necessarily the age. So don't think that just because it's old that it's got crummy paper. Sometimes it's got crummy paper because the publisher didn't have the budget for good quality paper. Or maybe the Times didn't have the budget for it. During war times, I find books that were printed during war times. Quite often the paper is not good quality because the money was being spent on the war effort. All right, there we go. So let's put this, the little froggies having fun, in here. It's my wonderful big Shakespeare book. Now this is going to have to be tricky because you know me and my vigorous gluing. But I think I better decide first where the word snippet is going to go. So if I put you down here, I usually like to overlap. But I want to keep this almost monochrome. And I'm wondering if I should do it sort of simpler like that. Okay, so you need to go first and you can go there. All right, I know I'm thinking in my head. I apologize. Just try your best to read my thoughts. And if you can do that, let me know. All right, so I'm just going to gently use a glue stick. And then if I need to, I will lift later and go underneath with the art glitter glue. Now, another way to approach something fragile like this that has the tiny little pieces sticking out here and there is to actually break it up into several pieces and glue it down like almost like a jigsaw puzzle. Eventually, once it's all in place properly, you'll never notice that it's actually two pieces. I'll show you in a minute where I did that in this book, because something that the way I wanted it to look wasn't going to fit. So I had to cut it into two pieces. So that looks cute. Look how nice the little froggy. Look at that wicked froggy. Oh, he's smiling away. And this nice big froggy having a snooze. Little does he know. See, right there I can see. Pardon me, tickly throat. We had some grandbabies over yesterday. They needed their haircuts. That's always a pleasure. One of them's a little carrot top. Oh my goodness, I feel like we have Anne of Green Gables living in our family. She's got this beautiful red hair and freckles. Oh, the freckles everywhere. So I did her haircut, and then I did her little sister. Her little sister, as chatty as the redhead is, the little blondie is so quiet. And it was her first haircut. She was so good. I mean, it's little girls, it's easier because you just trim across the bottom and even it up. I don't think there's anything coming out. No, nothing coming out. She was so good though, but she just started school this year, and apparently on I'm probably repeating myself, so yell at your screen if I'm repeating myself, but you know what? I'm going to blame it on my liver. What is it? Hepatic encephalopathy? There we go. It's all the liver's fault. She said she wants to be a hairstylist when she grows up. She probably whispered it. She's so quiet. I want to be a hairstylist. So we talked about how much fun it is being a hairstylist and what I like to do and how I can't wait for when they're in grade 8 and they need to have special hair done for their 8th grade graduation and high school grad and prom and all those fun things. There we go. That's better. Now this one, I want a little bit of an edging around it. So I'm going to use a dark one just to give it a tiny little line around the edge to sort of make it stand out a bit more. It's just subtle, but you'll see. As my father-in-law used to say, you'll see. You wait and see. And then you'll go, oh, Catherine, you're right. That makes all the difference in the world. Or some of you might go, well, you just wasted 10 minutes. And you know what? It's therapy, right? For most of us. It's just therapy. So I've got 10 more minutes of therapy. There we go. It's a little overcast here today, but it's not raining, so I'll take it. I have a little friend asleep over here beside me. And I have no idea what I'm making for dinner tonight. Maybe hubby will come up with something. He's a good sport about that. All right. There we go. Let's put the... So, one froggy... can you see? Good. One froggy asleep and one froggy awake. There we go. It sort of blends in with all the lines on the page, and it looks like it was just always there. Here, I'll lift it up so you can see. And then what I did was, I had this science book from the 50s that I've been hacking into, as you can tell. I have a few more pages from it. So I've been getting out some word snippets, because who doesn't enjoy a word snippet? I mean, we put a word snippet on the whale tail tab here. Oh, I finished this. See, I'm wasting the whole flip through. Nothing's going to be a surprise for you, but I get excited about these things. So I finally decided what to do with her, because she just looks so lovely relaxing there. So I decided to hinge her with some sari silk, so that she flips nice and easy, and I backed her with some cardstock, and she's still a little, I like them nice and floppy so that they're easy to write on, but she's quite floppy, so she gets a beautiful little paper clip just to hold her down like that. Now let me find out where I put the word snippet, because I did some word snippets. Oh, I made this too. Oh yeah. That's another tea-dyed page out of the 10-year garden journal. And then this, for the new owner, so she can remember me by and where I came from. It's from the end of the box from a player piano, a roll of player piano music. So maybe I should fold some and put it in there. But I liked it because it has a maple leaf on it, and it's green, and it also says Toronto, Canada, which is where I was born. So is that glued down? It looks, yeah, it is. All right. I was worried it was sticking up, but I think it's just the inking. Oh, there's our little frogs we did. Now, what I want to do, one last thing. I've been tucking things in here and there, besides tucking things into the glassine envelopes. is I've got to walk away from the book, or there's not going to be anything for the new owner to do. So, here's where I blended these two together. This was a double page spread, these frogs, looking up, and it was out of a book. So I wanted them to, of course, fit better onto this tab. And I don't know if you can tell, but I cut around him and pieced him so that he's looking that way. And that way they're all looking together up at this beautiful fairy and the cricket that she's riding on. And her beautiful bumblebee crown. And so that's where you can see, in a way, it's fussy cutting. This is very simple fussy cutting, but I simplify it for the sake of it being a pocket. If I went into all those details, they would end up bending, and they'd be a mess eventually. So for that sake, it's got to be simpler. And I just added this frog in over top, and unless I told you, you probably would not have known that I had done one of my Catherine things that I often do. Love that. So I think I'm not going to do it on camera. I think I'll make a journaling spot out of this so I can tuck it maybe in there. Then I've got room to tuck something back there. And I want to, on one of the lace pages, I want to sew a frog. Maybe here. Nancy sent along some frog buttons. So I want to sew a frog button onto one of the lace. So I'll save one frog button for me, and one frog button will go along in the new journal. Or maybe I should put it on a curly page. No, you've already got something. No, let's put it on. I think I like it better on the curly page than on the flat page. The curly page, the ruffles will fit in and around because it's it's quite a 3D button. Let's move over here. Sorry. All right, thread. I'm going to use a heavy duty thread. Needle. Let's do this. And then, I was going to show you my leaves. Oh my goodness. Where did I put the leaves? So I can show you my word snippets. Okay, I'm going to leave my hand there. I know it's here because I know it's on the other side of that page. I got to find it. Oh, I thought it was. Oh, there's one. Okay. So, word snippet, leaf, in case you didn't know what it was. Leaf. So that's out of a 50s. It wouldn't surprise me if I read out of that book as a child. And then I did another one with a maple leaf like Dougie in my backyard. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll have to find that leaf when we do the flip through. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? I've been using different colored inks here and there in this book, which is unusual for me, but I've been enjoying it. Nope, I can't find it. We'll find it when we do the flip through. All right, so we're going to put the little frog up here. Let's get some thread, not too long, or I end up tangling it. But the lazy bones in me wants to do a really long thread so that I don't have to run the chance of needing. I can't believe I can thread the needle without a magnifying glass anymore. Ah, the joys of getting your eyes fixed. Even though I'm still seeing slightly double out of one. I'm a sloppy knot tire. But you know what? The wisdom is in the history of it, and that's how my mother taught me, so that's how I do it. And I think of her whenever I tie a knot in thread. So I think I might go through the paper first just to make sure that that knot stays through. If I took the knot through the lace, it might pop right through one of the holes. So, oh, thank goodness that's a big hole. Let's just bring you back. See what I mean? Look at that thread. There's a reason why I'm not a seamstress. But I get the job done. And I can sew a mean text block. Oh, come on, you. Don't be such a nuisance. There we go. It's all these other threads that I don't like cutting off. They get in my way. All right, there we go. So now I can just stay mostly on the fabric, but the knot will be hidden in behind. I'm going to do quite a few so that he's really, really nice and solid there. I don't mind what the back looks like because, again, I don't mind when certain aspects of a junk journal look childlike, as if this book took years to fill and maybe it got started when that first owner was a child. See, there's some of that thread. Oh well. Rather than it looking like a 63-year-old professional seamstress made the book, I'd rather it look like a 6-year-old figuring out how to sew person. Maybe it's... Oh gosh, that's cute. Yeah, you know what? That's not going anywhere. I'm going to do a little knot there. I'm going to bring it through the other side so that I can tie it underneath and cut it short. Again, you can laugh all you want at your screen at my sewing. But it'll hold. Maybe I'll leave that long. The new owner can trim it if she wants, but I rather like it. I'm going to do them in 2 different lengths. One and 2. There, that looks cute. Look. Ah! Oh, golly. I shouldn't get so excited. Look at that little frog button up there. Thank you, Nancy. That's cute. All right, so, and that's where I got the leaf words. Sally and Jim were looking for elm leaves and maple leaves. So I guess that's the elm leaf that was back there. And then somewhere here in the book is a maple leaf, and it says leaf. So we'll find it when we do the flip through. So I'm going to do some last little details, make sure tuck spots are filled. I'm going to put some more little fussy cuts into this and just tuck it somewhere. I'm going to make a Two Nanas bookmark, and then the next time we get together with the Four Little Mischiefs, it will be to do a flip through. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you're having a great day. If it's morning for you and you're enjoying a tasty beverage of your choice, I hope you're enjoying it. And wherever you are out there in this world, I hope you're safe and your loved ones are. I'm off to finish this book. Take care. Bye.